What's up, future officers? My name is Tejas and I welcome you all very warmly to yet another episode of iLead. So, I hope that all of your Diwali or Deepavali celebrations have gone on extremely well and you got to spend some time with your family. Speaking about Deepavali, when we light our diyas, it is not just dispelling darkness, it is creating hope. Hope for a vibrant, self-reliant and a more prosperous India. This particular Deepavali, our Prime Minister made a speech. I hope that you heard the speech. So, he spoke about this concept of something called as Swadeshi 2.0.
कल्प लें। अब हम कौन सी चीजों को खरीदेंगे, कौन से तराजू से तोलेंगे? मेरे भाइयों बहनों, मेरे देशवासियों, अब हम कुछ भी खरीदें तो एक ही तराजू होना चाहिए।
So what is the Swadeshi 2.0, sir? We will discuss all about it in this particular video. So this Swadeshi 2.0 is not just a policy, it's a people's movement. It's a modern echo of an old powerful idea reborn for the 21st century. But what exactly is this Swadeshi 2.0? Let's break it down. But first, let's try to understand what exactly is this Swadeshi movement. See, Swadeshi movement was started in 1905, very old movement. So, that particular movement, what was that about? It was our freedom struggle's economic weapon. It was about boycotting foreign goods. And when we speak about boycotting foreign goods, it was mainly the British cloth and the salt with the intention to mainly strengthen our economy on one side and cripple the colonial British economy. So, it served two purposes in one. But however, Swadeshi 2.0 is a little different. It's not about boycotting the world. Rather, it is about embracing the world in our own terms. Think of it this way. Swadeshi 1.0, where we boycott foreign items. Swadeshi 2.0 is a sword to conquer global markets. It's not about openly rejecting global products, but rather preferring and proudly embracing the Indian alternatives for those particular products. So basically, in this particular Deepavali, what our Prime Minister said is that we should adopt Swadeshi mantra as a way of life. The Swadeshi mantra should be reverberated in everybody's voices, 143 crore Indians' voices, wherein we post it very proudly in our social media whenever we purchase anything Indian. We try to spread the word on how exactly we are consuming an Indian product and how exactly we are contributed in giving an impetus to Swadeshi. But let me give you a little bit of backdrop to this. Why is this all of a sudden being declared on a Deepavali speech? See, a lot of things are happening in the world. US's tariffs on India, okay, first tariffs and then additional tariffs, almost like a penalty tariffs, has created a lot of changes in the way our economy is functioning. And this has hit certain places in India to a very big extent. Our exports have dropped by 37%. How much? 37% our exports have dropped. Certain places, like for example, Surat jewelers, Coimbatore textile workers, workers in Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh workers in terms of shrimp cultivation, lot of lakhs of jobs have been endangered. Thousands of people's jobs have already been fired because these people are not making any profit. Suddenly, this exports has hit them very hard. So, what could be a solution to this? This solution is only the Swadeshi 2.0, guys. So, basically, what our government is trying to create is that it is trying to create a virtuous cycle here. And when I speak about virtuous cycle, what do I mean? So basically, if you buy Swadeshi goods, what is happening? You are consuming Indian products. So consumption increases. If consumption increases, the production of these particular products will increase. If production increases, the demand for that particular product will increase. If demand increases, in that case, the employment will also increase. There will be a lot of employment. There will be a lot of jobs which are created. So overall, you see that it is very good that you start buying. It could be a way in which we could avoid this landslide which is happening right now. 37% is not a joke, right? But then again, when we talk about self-reliance and purchasing our own products and everything, there is not something very new. It has been happening in the last 10 years in a very big scale only. See, first we had something called as Make in India, where a lot of manufacturing was promoted in India. Second one, we had something called as Startup India. So in Startup India, a lot of entrepreneurs From job seekers went on to become job creators. Third one is something called as vocal for local. That is, everybody voice out on local products, try to consume them, try to produce them. In fact, when I'm speaking about this vocal for local, one thing which immediately strikes my mind, something which recently I've been reading about in the newspapers also, is about Kerala tribal women. So basically what happened here is that these Kerala tribal women, they were very less nourished, they were in bad health. The bad health was somehow being transpired to the children also. So to break all of this, TriFed tried to organize and made one particular product out of them. It was called as Karthumbi umbrellas. Okay, so this Karthumbi umbrellas, Kerala tribal women produced this in a very big scale, and because of this, they had one e-commerce website also. It's called as eTribes India. So this umbrellas quickly went on to become one of the best selling products in this particular website. You can actually go check out this particular website also. Very nice government-led website, eTribes India. So basically what happens here, lot of tribal products are given branding, and this branded products will be sold. Okay, so tribal products are given branding and they will be sold to all the citizens of India. Whoever you want, you can purchase that particular products. Another fourth thing which was already happening is this one district, one product scheme. So in this one district, one product scheme, what is happening? In that whole district, a technique of manufacturing of one product is tried to be promoted, and everybody tries focusing on this. So it creates a kind of specialization of that particular area. See, 2047, we have this idea of Viksit Bharat. That means developed India. But do you think that developed India will just become developed like this? No, it requires so many strategies. It requires so many things to be done in the right way. So this Swadeshi 2.0 is also one step in the right direction. See, for us to become a developed India, every year, without missing 1 year also, every year, India has to show a growth rate of 7.5%. And only then will we become a Viksit Bharat. The demand for our production should increase, not just abroad, but locally also. We should produce and we should consume our own products. Niti Aayog, it gave in one report that there is a lot of structural and institutional changes in the way our economy should function. And speaking about the structural changes, what we have to understand is that in the Indian economic story, usually all economies, there is one person called as Arthur Lewis. So he gives something called as primary stage, that is agriculture. From there you go on to the secondary stage, which is manufacturing. From there you go on to the services, that is services sector, which is the third stage, right? Where banking, BPOs, education, healthcare, all of that, those kind of things come. There is the general transgression of things where primary, secondary, tertiary will go on. But however, in India, what happened is that we skipped this Lewisian transition. Directly we went from primary to tertiary. So this created a void, a gap, a crack, a rift, wherein it created a kind of a problem when it comes to our manufacturing. Our manufacturing base did not grow very strong. So this logically implies that we should take all steps necessary to make our manufacturing strong, because lot of employment is being generated in the manufacturing sector itself. Example, we have to try producing a lot of local products. We have to give a lot of impetus to MSMEs, because MSMEs is something which anybody can do. It doesn't require a lot of doesn't require you to be technologically very sound, right? So these are the advantages there. Like for example, manufacturing has to be improved with respect to semi-precious stones, jewelry, metals, electronics, machinery, semiconductors, and all these sectors. So this will greatly increase the amount of manufacturing when it comes to India. See, if we have to discuss the situation right now, we are living amidst a world filled with trade wars. Swadeshi 2.0 could be that panacea, or could be that way forward in which it should be triggered like a revolution. See, with respect to India and China, if we take today's context, between India and China, bilateral trade is in such a way that with respect to goods, there is a trade deficit between India and China, and a trade deficit of $99 billion. Okay, very big number. and it is skewed in favor of China. That is, meaning China sells more to India than it buys from us. So that is why the trade deficit is happening. So many things are there. Like for example, API, active pharmaceutical ingredient. So these are that particular chemicals which make a medicine a medicine. Otherwise in a tablet it is just salt. But adding this active pharmaceutical ingredient, it becomes a medicine. So we have to make a list of what all products we source from China. We have to see what or which one of these can be indigenously produced. We have to start working on this so that in the future at least we can cut down on the buying of these particular products. It is not just something which is there just with one country. Globally also, the goods import, if we say to 2024 and 2025, the goods import, we have a trade deficit of $720 billion. If we try to make a list of all the things we buy from other countries, which are those goods which are inelastic in nature, so in that case, we can make a list, try to see which one of these we can produce indigenously. Try to invest in R&D, try to make that list and slowly start taking out these commodities so that we can reduce the trade deficit. So if we do this, the burden on the forex reserves will also decrease. Now that we've spoken about goods, with respect to services also, at one point of time, India was at a very good place. But now, even in the services industry, we are facing a lot of competition because the English-speaking population in the world over has increased. Everybody are catering to the needs of whatever we were doing before. Now, other countries are also coming forward and doing the same. So, this is where the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat comes into the fore. So, recently, there was something called as Arat AI app. Okay, so this Arat AI app is again an indigenous production. It is being produced by this company called as Zoho company, and it is being marketed and advertised even by our Prime Minister and Home Minister. If we use apps like this, the money which will be spent also will be used and circulated in India itself. So what could be the challenges here? The challenges are that one, many foreign companies would come and set up their company here. They would manufacture products here, and whatever profits they do here, after we consume them, all that profits would be again sent back to their source country. So is it really made in India or is it assembled in India? So that is a doubt which we have to cater to. Second is a barcode. Usually they tell that whenever this barcode comes, 890, if it is there in the barcode, it is usually made in India. But again, that is not 100% true. Okay, so you really can't find out if this 890 is there or not also. It's not really made in India also. So there are certain challenges like this. Third one is the company ownership. Many times they'll have a lot of foreign investors. It will be an Indian company, but lot of foreign investment. In that case also, if they manufacture, how should we face that particular dilemma? Whether to consume it as an Indian product, or because it has a lot of foreign backing, should we consider it as a foreign product, right? Amidst all of this confusion, we should try and follow these particular guidelines in our consumption patterns. What are these guidelines? Try going for established brands like Tata, Patanjali, Godrej, Himalaya. These are all established 100% Indian brands. Try using apps which are made in India. Like for example, you have Arogya Setu app. You have this new Arat AI app. So these are all Swadeshi apps. If you use this more and more, in that case, reliance and of all these foreign apps will automatically come down. Third, when we take FMCG, like for example, fast moving consumer goods, shampoos if we take, instead of some Clinic Plus, we can always go for Kesh Kanti. Instead of Coca-Cola, Pepsi and all such kind of, aerated drinks, we can go for coconut water, lime water, and even if in case you have to drink something which is packaged, why not go for something which is paper boat? Either ways, this serves as a more healthy option. When it comes to mobiles, instead of going for phones like Apple, Samsung, we can go for phones like Lava, Micromax. And even though the technology might be in a little of infant stage, more and more when these companies start making profits, the technology would also improve and the features would also improve in such a way that they can compete with the big giants also. It is we who have to believe in our own companies to make a change. In fact, if we talk about this one more example, we should try preferring for government jobs over private jobs. The main reason being that when you work for the government, it is your chance to do service and give back to the nation. Recently, there was something called as Ratan Tata Innovation Hub, which was started in Amaravati, Andhra Pradesh. So this is also again an impetus in Swadeshi's direction itself. Similarly, there's something called in Telangana, something called as T-Hub, which was also started. Okay, and of course there is Atal Tinkering Lab and Innovation Labs, which are all around the country. So when we talk about research and development, now of course we are doing this Atal incubation centers and Atal Tinkering Labs and all of this. But overall, if we see our research and development investment and how much of budgetary allocation we make in terms of our GDP, it is just a meager 0.6%. In the US, they make 3.5% of their total budgetary allocation, which is humongous because US GDP is much more than India. So they make 3.5% for their research and development. When we speak about Israel, they make 5.4% of investment for their GDP, and even China makes 2.4% of their GDP. Even our Niti Aayog has told that we should increase the budgetary allocation to a minimum 2%. Again, among youth also, that research fervor is just not there. For again, practical reasons that they are not incentivized enough. Monetarily also, they are not compensated to the level which foreign countries happen. So usually what happens, all the PhD scholars, once they finish, they try going for Singapore, Europe, US. They try going there, and there they do research, and there they try applying for patents, copyrights. Again, the intellectual property infrastructure, the IPR infrastructure in India is also a little weak. So the way forward is that Bharat should become an electronics export hub. We should try focusing on different missions like India AI mission, India Semiconductor mission, Indian Critical Minerals mission, and Swadeshi should be promoted in all of this. Even with respect to defense, we should try to promote something which is indigenous. Like for example, our BrahMos missile was recently test fired in Lucknow a few days back, and the first group has been launched and sold to other countries. So these are all the steps in the right direction, and these are all the things we should try remembering when we go forward in this particular movement, in this revolution called as Swadeshi 2.0. All of you remember guys, Swadeshi 2.0 shouldn't be a moment, it should be a movement. Right? So with this particular thing, I'll leave you all here. Until next time, this is Tejas signing off. Thank you and have a nice day.